track of our 247 broadcast. President Bola Tinubu has bagged the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Millennium Excellence Foundation based in Ghana. Tinubu, while receiving the award, commended the patron of the foundation, Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II Ashanti Hene, for the invitation extended to him and the success of the event put together by the foundation. The president, represented by Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Bianca Odumegu Ojukwu, received the award as a special guest of honor during the 25th anniversary of the Millennium Excellence Prize in Kumasi, Ghana. And back home, the People's Democratic Party, that is the PDP, has inaugurated new members of its Board of Trustees. The inauguration took place today at the party's National Executive Committee Hall in Abuja. The move was to rejuvenate the party's top advisory body, which has been diminished activity, with 85 out of 127 members reportedly inactive. Global TV will bring you details of that event later on. But let's move on to other stories for you. The Minister of Labour and Employment, Muhammad Dingyadi, has emphasized the need for legislative support to reform Nigeria's labour laws to meet international standards, citing critical bills waiting consideration. Speaking at the opening session of the Policy Dialogue gathering in Abuja, the minister noted that the dialogue represents a viable platform for stakeholders to engage in meaningful discussions on critical issues affecting the nation, especially as it draws participation from policymakers, experts in various sectors, technocrats, and key players in diverse fields. The minister also hailed the leadership of the House of Representatives for convening the inaugural National Policy Dialogue on the legislative agenda, describing it as a clear indication of the legislative commitment towards making a positive impact on the nation's national development. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, has elected a consultant psychiatrist at the University of Jos Teaching Hospital, Professor Chris Pinwuna, as its next president. Professor Pinwuna, who is also the Dean of Student Affairs at the University of Jos, takes over from Victor Oshodoke, a professor of soil science from the Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Umodike, Abia State. The decision was taken at the 23rd National Delegates Congress of the Union, which took place in Benin. A civil society organization, the Concerned Citizens Network for Democracy, has issued a 72-hour ultimatum to the governments of Benue and Zamfara states, demanding the immediate recall of all suspended lawmakers or face legal action aimed at halting statutory federal allocations to both states. In a statement released in Abuja and signed by Secretary General Moses Adamu, the group accused the two houses of assembly of operating in violation of the Nigerian Constitution, alleging they lack the legal quorum required to function or pass. We sincerely apologize for that interruption in our news broadcast occasioned by technical challenge which has now been resolved. We appreciate you for your understanding. Let's return to our earlier story now, where the chairman of Goa West local government area in Benue State, Omin Tulsa Victor, has ordered a dusk to dawn curfew to curb rising insecurity in the area. In a statement issued, Victor said the curfew, which begins at 6:30 p.m. daily, takes immediate effect and applies to all movement into and out of the local government. The council boss explained that the measure is temporary and will be subject to review based on improvements in the security situation. The Nigerian Ports Authority (NPA) has refuted recent online allegations accusing the agency of multi-billion naira corruption, describing the claims as spurious, false, and lacking credibility. According to the NPA, all budgetary provisions and expenditures are under the strict supervision of the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, the Budget Office of the Federation, and the National Assembly, making misappropriation practically impossible. The management of the authority in a statement dismissed the allegations, insisting that its operations, finances, and procurement processes are fully compliant with Nigerian law and subject to rigorous oversight. Let's turn to Lagos State now, where the chapter of the Labour Party there has announced the suspension of former state chairman of the party, Dayo Ekong, and Sam Okbala over alleged gross misconduct and breach of the party's constitution. This was made known in a statement signed by the state's caretaker committee of the party, Rotimi Odunaike, and the secretary, Dorcas Omodia. The caretaker committee chairman noted that action in it for future aviation demands. Quite a brilliant initiative there. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says the suspended governor of Rivers State, Siminalayi Fubara, visited him as his Port Harcourt residence with two other governors. The minister stated this during a live media chat confirming Fubara's visits, noting that the accompanying governors were, unfortunately, governors from the ruling All Progressives Congress. The FCT minister also described the experiences of the embattled governor as self-inflicted injury, noting that he had previously invited the governor in the presence of Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, former governor of Benue State Samuel Ortom, former governor of Abia State Okeze Ikpeazu, and former governor of Enugu State Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, noting, however, that Fubara had failed to heed their advice. This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of News Express with Uyi Agmofebe. When the rest of the news returns, U.S., China agree to slash tariffs in trade war de-escalation. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. The rest of this news broadcast now returns with business, where the United States and China have announced an agreement to drastically reduce tit-for-tat tariffs for 90 days, de-escalating the trade war that has roiled financial markets and raised fears of a global economic downturn. After their first talks since U.S. President Donald Trump launched his trade war, the world's two biggest economies agreed in a joint statement to bring their triple-digit tariffs down to two figures and continue negotiations. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent described the weekend discussions with Chinese Vice Premier He Lifeng and International Trade Representative Li Chenggang as productive and robust. Dangote Petrochemicals refinery has effected another reduction in the ex-gantry price of its premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, below the publicly announced 835 naira per litre. It was confirmed that the refinery has reduced its price to 825 naira per litre for its customers through a rebate of 10 naira after successful loading of products at the refinery. The sources say marketers are still paying 835 naira per litre for products but receive a 10 naira refund after loading and evacuating them from the refinery. The Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, Bayo Ojulari, has announced plans to resume crude oil exploration activities in coal mining located between Gombe and Bauchi states. Ojulari made the disclosure during a recent interview where he said the company is fully prepared to overturn or return to the Kolmani oil fields, which had generated high expectations among northern communities when drilling first began. And beyond Nigeria now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he invited Pope Leo XIV to Ukraine during their first phone call, in which he also thanked the newly installed pontiff for urging peace in Ukraine. The two leaders also discussed the thousands of Ukrainian children deported by Russia, that's according to Zelensky, noting that Kiev is counting on the Vatican's help in returning them home. Top military officials from India and Pakistan are due to discuss their final details of the ceasefire agreed between them over the weekend. The U.S. brokered ceasefire between the nuclear-armed neighbors appears to have held overnight after nearly 2 days of intense shelling and aerial incursions from both sides. President Donald Trump had announced the ceasefire between India and Pakistan, saying it was time to stop the current aggression that could have led to the death and destruction of so many and much more. Gaza's entire population is at a critical risk of famine, and 500,000 Palestinians in the besieged territory face starvation, according to the world's leading hunger monitor. Israel says it has not committed to a ceasefire in any way for Hamas's release of U.S.-Israeli captive Aidan Alexander, but will set up a safe corridor to facilitate the move today. Israeli forces continue bombarding Gaza, killing at least 17 people at a school-turned-shelter as the total blockade of the Strip enters its 71st day. Now let's turn to sports and bring you some excitement. Remo Stars have been crowned champions of the 2024-2025 Premier Football League after their 4-1 win over Ikorodu City in a match-day 37 game in Ikene. The Blue Sky Stars came from a goal down to thrash their Southwest rivals and also dent their hopes of picking a continental ticket in their debut NPFL campaign. Already confirmed as champions 2 weeks ago, Remo Stars marched into the field for their coronation day with a guard of honor from their visitors inside an electrifying stadium filled with thousands of supporters who came to witness their historic day. And still talking football, Sunshine Stars head coach Bombola Kolofolarin says the team is still waiting for the management's decision following their relegation from the Nigeria Premier Football League. The Owana Wales relegation was confirmed after their 2-1 defeat to Niger Tornadoes at the Dikbo Dina Stadium in Ijebu-Ode. Sunshine Stars will face El Kanemi Warriors in their last match of the season in Maiduguri. The Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has confirmed Remo Star Stadium Ikene and Moshood Abiola Sports Complex Abeokuta as venues for the upcoming international friendlies between the Super Falcons and Cameroon. The first match will take place at the Remo Star Stadium Ikene Remo. The second match will hold at the newly renovated MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta, the state capital. To end the Global TV News Express, let's take a look at some of our big stories. The People's Democratic Party, PDP, has inaugurated new members for its Board of Trustees. In business, the United States and China have announced an agreement to drastically reduce tit-for-tat tariffs for 90 days, de-escalating a trade war that has roiled financial markets and raised fears of a global economic downturn. On the foreign scene, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he invited Pope Leo XIV to Ukraine during their first phone call, in which he also thanked the newly installed pontiff for urging peace in Ukraine. And finally, in sports, he told you the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has confirmed Remo Star Stadium, Ikene, and Moshood Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta as venues for the upcoming international friendlies between the Super Falcons and Cameroon. And that's your Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and Star Times 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @GlobalTVNG. We urge you to download the Global TV Nigeria mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our 247 broadcast. I'm Oye Agumofwegbe saying a big thank you to you for watching. We will see you again